record this. So every content exam, whether it's math, whether it's theater, whether it's health science, the exams are created from only 2 documents, and that's it. Those are the only 2 things that the state sends to Pearson, the test maker. And it's your standards document, which we're looking at yours right now, but it's also the sort of student version of it, because this is going to go through lots of knowledge concepts and lots of skills that you need to know and you need to be able to do with your students. But you need to know these concepts and be able to do these skills because you are required to help the students gain knowledge of their TEKS, right?
Yeah.
So and I think trying to see if yeah, here it is. Here we are, health science. So here are our TEKS. There are a lot of them. Anything listed in your TEKS is up for grabs as far as your exam is concerned. So going through these and making sure that you feel comfortable with all of the knowledge concepts and that you're able to do the skills that are required of the students. For instance, this is an example of one of the skills: identifying diverse cultural influences that have impacted contemporary aspects of healthcare delivery. So identifying diverse and cultural influences that have impacted. So, and that's a very specific skill that students have to be able to sort of identify these particular markers that lead to a different outcome or whatever as far as delivery of the healthcare. So going through your TEKS as a last effort before, because I'm going to ask them to open your exam already. You've completed study.com. So I think with that, and the fact that you were so close, Miss Sauceda, to begin with, I think this next time around it's going to be a different scenario.
I hope so. Like, I'm really gonna, like, I'm not working right now anymore because I finished with my phlebotomy class that I was teaching at Palmview High School, La Jolla. So everybody got licensed there. It was
Congratulations.
then,
That's amazing.
so then it's like, pues I don't have a job anymore. But it's
Right.
good because I was a little bit bummed out because I finished earlier on the school year. But at the same time, it's okay because I can focus on this. That's why since
Absolutely. Yes.
as soon as I finished with work, I told my husband I'm gonna start and take advantage of this time that I have right now so that I can start fixing my resume or polishing it up and then doing the study.com and all of this so I can get licensed. Ya, órale, vámonos.
Yeah, absolutely. And make sure that you put on your resume that you do things like that. The fact that you have taught a phlebotomy class at a public school already is like a gold star circling your head when you go into an interview. So make sure that that's listed and highlighted, that your students gain successful completion of a licensure. That's huge. That's like big deals. Make sure you highlight that on your resume.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, after I take the test, right? How
Mhm.
much time do you think I should take myself to study?
I think you should take um give yourself a good two weeks or 3 weeks to study and section it out. This manual has been good. I think it's this manual, yeah.
Oh yeah, I printed it all out. I have it in my in
This
the binder.
manual has been very helpful to my past students that have taken the health science.
Oh,
Because remember, it goes into the deep detail of those things that you just have to remember, right? They're not so much scenario based and you have to make a decision based on like the keywords and phrases they gave you. It's more, do you know the nuance of microbiology, right? Do you know the
yeah,
specifics? And so you're not going to have to know all of the TEKS and remember all of this stuff the whole time you're teaching, because you'll have particular classes and those classes will have particular TEKS. You'll become experts while you teach those classes. And then administration 1 year will say, listen, we're adding a class or we're changing things or whatever the case may be. And then you'll focus on or add more TEKS. But for the purposes of the exam, you really have to have like a solid overarching knowledge of the basics. And this manual does a really good job. I think it does a better job than the Mometrics, which is another sort of brand of study guides. They do a really, really, really good job. Active study guides, active studying, write down notes, write down look if as you're looking through the standards, look at what is it that you have to do with this information. Yes, you have to, the teacher has to understand these things, but for what purpose, to what end? So keep these things in mind as you're reading. So this one does a really good job of going through all of the specifics, and I'm trying to get to where you were talking about like neurons, and when we're talking about like biology and
So also when I took it,
Mhm.
it was like 2 weeks before I was referred to Texas Oncology because I've been suffering a very low anemia levels or
Oh
iron
no,
levels.
yeah, absolutely.
So I was crying the day before the test because I told my husband, I can't concentrate. Like the
I
information is
know.
not going in. I don't know like what's wrong with me, right? Like with work, it wasn't a problem because I already know the information for so many years, but something different, como que it just wouldn't stick. And then when I talked to the hematologist and they got me on iron infusions and all my treatment, he told me this is gonna help with that a lot because iron, like very low iron levels that you have, that's what it does to you. It doesn't let you like concentrate or memorize anything.
No, your body's unable to carry oxygen, and it's like excuse me, I suffer from the same thing. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. I get iron infusions as well.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I know it's very difficult. I mean,
And
this
then I was trying to buy like I had even thought about buying like the Nariva to help me with focus.
right.
And it was just real hard. Like, oh, I know. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this. And I don't think I did that bad for me being in that shape. I think I did pretty good. But now I feel a lot
Absolutely.
better and
Yeah.
confident about it.
Let me just tell you, with iron infusions, you're gonna have a better turnaround. Your brain, it first of all, every single one of these exams is like a cognitive marathon. It's like a
Yeah.
cognitive marathon. And you did your marathon without like with like 40% of the oxygen that that a normal person would have access to. So it's gonna be more labored, more distracted, more exhaustion, to be honest with you. So you knocked it out of the park for having been anemic and received that news like the day before, the emotional stress. So yeah, you did fine, and you'll be fine this next time around. You just
So on
Mhm.
this one that you're showing me, the this layout of the book, I printed all of it actually. And this is the one that I was using to find like answers on Quizlet. I've been using it like on Quizlet. I've been quizzing myself and going through questions because there's a lot of questions on there
Excellent.
of the exam. Um, Obviously they're not going to be exactly the same, right? But I mean,
No,
it helps a lot that you can go back and forth and for something you don't know and you find it right away.
exactly. Why isn't it doing it?
It's like the health claims 273 or algo así.
Yeah, 273. I was just looking for the here.
What about the study guide that's on study.com? There's a practice test. I haven't taken that one again. I had just opened it and then I closed it.
I haven't seen them. And the state is very what's the word? Secretive, crazy pants over keeping the questions a secret, right? Like the ones that you see in the exam. This is what they show us as the examples, but not all the questions are like that. Some of them are much more difficult than
There was some that were real common sense, and there was some that or there was a couple of them were actually dumb. Like the options
no.
were like What?
Oh my goodness. The
But
answer.
then there was some, because I didn't know the information, that I was like, oh my God, I haven't felt like this since I took, like, I don't know, my nursing classes when I did the ADM program.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's okay because now you have like additional resources, and I would give yourself a good 2 to 3 weeks, break apart. You have 4 domains, do 2 domains a week. Or if you want to
Okay.
take a full month, do 1 domain a week and really focus on those domains. Dialogue with the standards involved in that domain and the TEKS covered in that domain.
Well, the thing is that I was thinking of taking it in on May 15th, more or less, on a
Ah, okay,
Monday,
so you can
because
still, yeah, you can still do that because you've been preparing and you're very close. But you're gonna have to really focus on engaging, not just reading the text, not just going through here and reading, but like taking what is said, and this isn't a good example. Let me find like a good example. Here, suffix, syllables or syllables added to the end. So just off to the side, anything of a word, the like smallest unit of meaning at the end of a word, right?
yeah,
Um, that's you taking what you read, and your brain has to process it in a deeper way, so you get a neurological pathway. If you write it, if you have to think of a different way of saying it, that means you're exercising more with that concept. You didn't just read it. Your brain is trying to find a way of saying it differently, and then you used a kinesthetic motion to write down your new paraphrasing or your understanding of what you just read, and it solidifies and internalizes that knowledge. It's why we use that strategy with students when they're studying for things and they're trying to understand things, that chunking the text, paraphrasing or summarizing off to the side. Whenever you find a word or a concept that is still unfamiliar to you based on the reading that is done, that means further investigation is necessary. And that's when I would go and copy and paste it into either Google, or I like to do straight into YouTube. So you find some great things.
yeah,
So and that's how you have to attack it, sort of in a crazy mode. And then I want for you to stop like 1 or 2 days before you test and just relax because you know what you know already.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, cramming is not gonna.
No, cramming is not gonna help. Give yourself, do a domain every 2 days and you'll get done before May, big time. And
Yeah,
you taking the time, like let's say ponle an hour a day, do like an hour a day of studying, of critical reading and paraphrasing things, that actual work that you're doing, highlighting keywords and phrases, finding examples. What you're doing is the equivalent. Remember, I said this is a cognitive marathon. Every single one of these exams, whether you're taking math or theater or the PPR, they're all cognitive marathons. And in order to, a lot of students tell me, like 2 hours in, to be honest with you, miss, I got really exhausted. Or like 3 hours in, to be honest with you, I got really exhausted. Like everybody almost says the same thing. And it's because we aren't used to that critical analysis, like that cognitive exertion for long sustained periods of time. 5 hours, who does that? Literally no one. So it will be the equivalent of you going outside and running a few laps if you're gonna like get ready to run a mile or a marathon. So every day, study in that critical way where you're critically analyzing these study resources, paraphrasing what you've read for your understanding to solidify that knowledge, and you'll be ready by the day of the exam.
yeah,
and
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 also,
focus on those areas you needed most. You have your scores, so you
yeah,
can
I
see
have my
what
scores.
particular competencies demand and require your attention. Don't like spin your wheels on things you're really good at. If you scored awesome in a competency, skip it, move on, you did well there. Focus on your areas of need from now until when you test.
Yeah, yeah, and also because I want to start. I mean, I already started. I applied to one, but they haven't hired anybody yet or gone through interviews. So, I mean, I want to get a job, right now, so that I can start in August. And these type of
Absolutely.
jobs, they go fast. Like
No,
they
they
go.
absolutely do. They absolutely do. So we want to be quick about it. So I'm going to ask the office to open up your exam. And then I want for you to continue studying as we discussed, doing that cognitive exertion. You want to like practice doing the cognitive laps with your reading and using the same strategies we would use with the students because we want to internalize that stuff and we want to do it quickly because you're going to be tested.
So let's say if all goes good, right?
Uh-huh.
Dios quiera, and I pass. After that, I start with what? With the studying for the PPR?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Okay, okay. And
Right.
then there was not, I have to do any work from the teacher builder?
Yes, everyone does. Everyone
Okay.
has coursework that they are responsible for. And to be honest with you, like, I don't know, I feel like there needs to be, we're getting a new system. And so I feel like it'll be better for us to communicate with everyone the importance of keeping up with your stuff. So have you, now that I'm speaking with you, have you turned in your field based experience hours?
No, because I thought first I had to pass my content exam.
No, 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 no. And can you go, can you get on a campus like
Oh
fast?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
great. Because we don't have that much time until the end of the school year. And so you can actually do this and then study at night. Because you said you have time right now, right?
yeah. How
Okay.
many hours do I need to do?
Well, you are responsible for 30 hours.
Okay.
But you can do 15 online. So, if you need to. And so those can be done in the summer. But we're running out of the school year and the school's going to close and you're not going to be able to get at least those 15 because at least 15 have to be done in person as required by the state. So the faster or the sooner you can get on a campus and get those 15 out of the way. If you want to do all 30 on, I mean, I didn't have an option of doing them online. I did all of mine in person, but I don't think I would have liked to have done them online. I really enjoyed going to the campuses and I went to all sorts of different campuses. Like I was really just I wanted to go to different teachers, different campuses, and I really made it sort of a big
And
one.
I just tell them, right, that I'm doing the program,
Yes, you'll want to call before.
like central office.
Right. Every district is different. And so you might want to call Human Resources Department and say, I'm a candidate with Teacher Builder, and I want to make sure that I get my field-based observation hours out of the way before the school year ends. I wanted to know what your policies are. Every district is slightly different. Some of them they'll say we'll contact the principal of the school that you want to go to. Some of them will say, yeah, like in fact I just heard today one school district and I don't remember if what it was and I don't want to say one and then just like make it seem like they're bad, but they're not bad, but they made them get like a TB test. They made them go through all of this stuff before they got onto the campuses. And some
Well, I know McAllen is like that and PSJA.
Okay, well, see, that's what I'm saying. So every district is different, and some of them have like very specific requirements before allowing you onto the campus, even if you're just there in an observing capacity. There's even one district, and I won't mention names, but they won't let you observe unless you live in the district. I've never heard of another district doing that, but there's only one district and
No.
they won't let you go observe unless you live in the district, which I don't understand, but okay.
Oh, that's probably Sherryland.
Ah, you guessed it.
Yeah, it's Sherryland. Because I had made
That is
years ago, I
hilarious
had
that you know
my
that.
kids
Uh-huh.
were in McAllen, and then we built another house. So then my kids belonged to Sherryland ISD.
Uh-huh.
But I knew they were like that, and I don't know, I just didn't like the type of kids, so I always left my kids with McAllen ISD.
Right. Well,
Because I used to work in McAllen ISD.
right. I think I don't understand that policy. And like I said, every district is welcome and they have like the school boards have control and people vote on it and all that good stuff. So it's something that I guess they thought was important. There's such a small area. So it really limits the amount of people who could actually you know what I mean, become teachers in that, I mean, and
Do you
observe.
know if Region 1 lets you,
Uh,
like, to any of the schools that work with them?
well, like Sherryland is a Region 1 school.
Oh, yeah, pero Region 1, I mean, como Vanguard or like Hidalgo ISD and
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. All of the districts, it's a requirement that the state requires that every new teacher go in and spend it used to be 30 hours in person that you had to do, but 30 hours of physically being there and observing the ins and outs of teaching, right? With these teachers of record already, making observation, reflecting on what you're seeing as far as classroom practices and what works and other stuff, and you have the forms there. And so the school districts realize that it is a vital component to the instruction of teachers, of new teachers, and so
so
they're
I
all supposed to welcome you. Like, I've never heard of anyone being denied, except for the with the exception of just learning about that Sherryland only accepts people who live in Sherry.
yeah. So I suppose there's paperwork, right, that I have to turn in. I mean, besides the forms to show that I was there at the field, right? But like the
Right,
working hours.
absolutely. So
But
I'm
is
gonna
there like
go.
questions, paragraphs, and so forth?
So I'm gonna go to. Can you see my course?
Yes.
Okay. So here is, and I was looking at somebody else. So here's in person, and I'm gonna just go back to the course. So here's your course for teacher builder field-based experience observations. Now you should have received a letter from Miss Garza when you enrolled in the program that explains that you're enrolled in the program and that you need to be let on campuses. It's what our candidates and would-be interns use to get on the campuses. And
Okay.
if you can't find it in your email, just go ahead and ask her, and she'll I don't think she'll have any problem sending you a new one. She's fantastic about that. So you're going to come in here and you will have your here it is, your in-person observation, and here it is. This is the like Word document, so you can type in it, but you can also just print it out and write on it. It's whichever you want. Um so those are what you'll turn in. And then you should also have courses 1, 2, 3, and 4 to complete. But what's most important to get in there, that way you can get a job as soon as you pass your exam, are your field-based experiences. Because I can give you credit for the work that you did on study.com. I can give you credit for the work that you've done with me and other stuff for your coursework. I can't give you credit for those 30 hours of field-based experience. And Miss Cardenas won't issue you that intern certificate, even if someone does want to hire you. And this is what happens like so often, almost every year, to at least a couple people. Not to a lot of people, but to at least a couple, it happens where they like let it sort of slide on the field-based experiences, pass their exams sometime in the summer, get a job, and let's say like they're hired and they want them to sign like in July so they can start in August when school starts. And Miss Cardenas will say, "Where are your field-based experience hours?" And you'll say, "I don't have them." And she'll say, "Well, I need them, or I can't allow them to hire you." Like, she won't allow the process to continue, and you can't start it because school hasn't even started. You know what I mean? It puts them in a
Yeah.
terrible position where they're like, and the districts won't wait for them.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's first and foremost. I can help you with the coursework and getting all that stuff, but get your field-based experiences in there.
Okay, yeah. I'll go ahead and start. And I think it was you that had told me that you preferred for me not to go to just a specific health science classroom, right? For me to go of all different ages.
Right. Go
Okay.
to all different kinds.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so then
I
I'll
mean, if
just,
you want to do just health science, you can. But
well,
I
I know I have, I'm good friends with three of the health science teachers that are at the high school where I was at. So I could go in there with one of them, like one day,
perfect. Oh
right?
my
And then,
God, you know what? Hold on, I'm gonna we'll be right back. I just remembered